Hello, happy Sunday. I hope you're having a great weekend. We've done the first week. Thank you. I want to just say thank you for all the participation that you've put in, taking the time to read through the pages, watch the videos, and comment with your answers, sharing your struggles, where you are at in life. I really hope this course helps you to lead a healthier lifestyle and moving on from here, just to have a better, more aware life. I I think it's such a problem in society and it's not really getting addressed. And we see all these things about like so much stuff about illness that we need to raise money for because it costs so much money for all these diseases, and a massive percentage of them are caused by lifestyle. And I just think that's baffling. How I have this analogy of like people want to drink and not have the hangover. It's like people want to live a life. They don't want to change their lifestyle. They want to live this lifestyle that they're living, but then they don't want to get all the metabolic disease that comes with that. And at some point, we have to take responsibility for our life and look at what we're doing. Like we're in charge. We're putting the inputs in, and we're going to get those results. We're going to get those outputs out. And if we don't want those outputs, if we don't want the metabolic disease, the type 2 diabetes, the Parkinson's, the Alzheimer's, dementia, like if we don't want that, then we've got to stop putting that input in. And we need to be doing that now. Like I think we need to address it now, because if we don't project ourselves 30 years into the future, if we stay on a trajectory that is going to make us ill, which the majority of society is doing, who's going to look after us? We're just going to be a burden on our family, our friends, on the healthcare system. And the healthcare system's already stretched as it is. So I don't know who's going to look after us in the future when the healthcare crumbles. Like we've got to take responsibility for our own health is what I'm saying. Now the things that I really think are key to trying to stay on track is looking at our lifestyle as a whole. So first of all, there's not any particular order really. It's a collection of things: lifestyle, circadian rhythm, sleep, stress regulation, what we are eating. So looking at those things. So I've talked about the getting up and out in the morning. This is really key for setting the body clock, setting that circadian rhythm. Get up, get out, get the morning light in your eyes, get moving. So we get the light, we raise our temperature up, and that kickstarts our circadian rhythm. It syncs us to the earth. This is how we're meant to be. Also at the end of the day, looking at not getting all that light, so dimming the lights, turning the lights off, using lamps on an evening, not using the screens all the way up until bedtime, definitely not being on your phone in bed, which I think we're probably all guilty of. So just being mindful of light and being mindful of raising the heart rate. So movement, exercise. We don't want to be training in the evening. We don't want to be elevating that heart rate, and things that elevate it are things like obviously exercise, stress, eating. So trying to eat a little bit earlier in the day. So really trying to sync our body back to how it's meant to be. Up in the morning, asleep into the evening, through the night. With sleep, so looking at caffeine intake, we don't want to be drinking caffeine too late into the day. So really stopping by 12 noon. Obviously there's different tolerance with caffeine, but it's a whole subject in itself. We want to optimize for sleep. If there was one thing that I could say, let's just square this away, it's sleep. Because that's the foundational block that we build everything on. That controls our hormones. It controls everything. So we really want to have sleep that's priority, okay? So I think moving forwards for this week, what I'd encourage everyone to do is have an evening alarm. So mine goes off at 9:15, and it just reminds me now's not the time to get all excited and start doing fucking bullshit like going on the computer, going on the phone. Like it reminds me it's time to wind down. Like I can do some stretches, I can do some breathing, I can do some reading, I can have a bath, like this sort of thing. Calm it down. On a morning, fucking let's go, but on an evening, calm it down. So a bedtime alarm is massively helpful. Then looking at what we're eating. So if we eat things that are going to give us that spike and that instant spike, we're going to get a crash. And if we have chaotic blood sugars, we're going to have chaotic energy. We want stable energy, and we get stable energy through high fat, high protein diet. So I would encourage us all to be looking at that. Can we eat a little bit more protein? So definitely the first meal of the day, whatever time that is, whether you eat your first meal at lunchtime, whether you eat it at 7 o'clock in the morning, let's aim for high protein, high fat. For me, it's typically always boiled eggs, and then whatever else goes in that bowl, that's cool. So sometimes feta, avocado, chicken, olive oil, nuts. Like I make like an egg bowl, and that's typically how I break my fast in the morning if I'm here where I can make eggs. If I go into work in the office, then I'll typically break my fast with Greek yogurt or a lunch, but again high protein on the lunch, so it'll be meat and fish, minimal on the carbs. Still have carbs because that's what the body loves for energy, but we don't want to kick the arse out of them. So I've come away from oats because I'd get the glucose spike, and at some point very soon I've got my next glucose monitor here that I'll be wearing, and I'm going to try different things, eating different foods and seeing what gives me a spike, and then looking at reducing those spikes. So if we are going to eat foods, how can we reduce that insulin spike? Now, I want to give you some stuff. We will cover this later, but I just want to give it to you now so you've got it. Now, if you're eating, typically I'll eat my main meal at lunchtime, and that'll be a big feed. Before I eat the food, I have a little shot of apple cider vinegar in some water. Boom, that reduces the glucose spike. Then the order that I eat my food, I'll eat the salad, the vegetables, I'll eat the protein, the meat, I'll eat the fish, I'll eat the fat, and I'll eat the carbs at the end. And the carbs, again, like I say, are minimal. And then after eating, I'll go take a walk around the block, 10-minute walk. So if we can look at adopting those 3 practices around our meal, having a shot of apple cider vinegar in some water before we eat, just a splash. The order of food that we eat, the order in which we eat the food. So fiber first, proteins and fats, carbs at the end, and then movement after. 10-minute walk after that meal. Those 3 things around eating will really reduce that spike, which will reduce the crash, which will keep our energy more stable. So I just wanted to chuck these tips out there. If you have got questions, chuck them into the community feed, and everyone's welcome to jump in that. I want it to be this going into this second week. We're going to look more at science and strategy, but I'm more than happy for everyone to ask questions and help each other out and say, oh, this works for me, and we can bounce things around, because it's not an absolute set way of doing it, but there's definitely things that help. Okay, so I hope you have a great Sunday, and I look forward to moving into week 2 with you all.